Now, to share a little bit more about today's event, in partnership with the University of Sunderland, MDIS offers a wide spectrum of programs and disciplines in business, media and communications, engineering, fashion and design, and tourism and hospitality, delivered by an experienced and qualified teaching faculty in Singapore. Now, of course, stay tuned to the last two segments for today's live sharing and find out key insights from industry practitioners to stay relevant in this competitive economy. In case you missed out on it this morning, here is some great news for all. To support local Singaporeans and PRs who are contributing, working hard during this pandemic, especially those in the affected industries, we have extended the MDIS Education Recovery Grant for another $400,000. Do contact us for more details. Now, if you're wondering when the tourism industry will rebound and if you can go for that long-awaited holiday, check out this next segment. Please welcome Isaac Joshua, Head of School for the School of Tourism and Hospitality. So, of course, here we have Mr. Isaac. How are you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me, Jerome.
So the thing is now, I'm actually going to read out the School of Tourism and Hospitality, all the different awards, and honestly, I'm probably going to be here for a while, but I'm going to try to cut it down as much as possible. So now, the School of Tourism and Hospitality has been on a fine run recently. Awarded the Gold Standard Service Provider for Best Hospitality and Tourism Education in Singapore by Job Central 2018. Singapore National Cocktail Champions for the student category in 2019 and 2020. So that's for 2 years in a row. You can stop me if you want to, but I'm going to go on. Overcoming various international schools to clinch the International Barista Champions 2019. Pioneers of Tourism and Hospitality Leaders Networking Reception, and also recently appointed by the Food and Beverage Management Association of Singapore to manage their youth wing in Singapore. So this is the first of any private education institute to do so, and surely the leading PEI in Singapore for the region for tourism and hospitality. Oh, that was a mouthful, Mr. Isaac. So of course, today we have you here. Why don't you tell us more about the School of Tourism and Hospitality here at MDIS?
Thanks, Jerome. So yes, the School of Tourism was established in 2007. And one of the first things that we have put in place for our learners who come from all around the world are the facilities. Now, it's going to be very difficult not to teach without the facilities. So we have a beautiful restaurant where we teach fine dining service. We have a nice bar, huge bar. So that's where our students learn the mocktail and the barista skills. We have a housekeeping room. Yeah. We also have the front office counter where we use the commonly used system in hotels called the Opera. So easy transition for our students to go out there and work in the front office area. We have a culinary studio, a pastry studio, a cafe, and the list goes on.
Yeah.
So, all these facilities are put in place with the learners in mind. Now, on top of this, I should say MDIS is like a mini city over here. We are 3 hectares big, and we have the other faculties, and we have a hostel here as well.
Yeah.
And so a mini bustling city, and great for our learners. When they come here, they get to interact with the students from the other faculties and explore MDIS and everything else around here.
Exactly. So, I mean, as you're talking about it, just hearing about all the different facilities that we have here, the hotel room in itself, the cafe and everything, that is tremendous. How have you been able to utilize that for your students in terms of learning?
Yes, the second part is the program. So now we have all these facilities in place, then comes the program. So we have a couple of programs here where we start from the professional diploma. We have a vocational diploma that's based for, quick entry into the industry. And then we have the management diploma, the international foundation diploma, higher diploma, and then that leads to the bachelor and the master's. Now, for this programs, it's very important for any school, not only us, to stay relevant, to look at the current trends, the current skills, the upcoming skills, and embed them and design and review your curriculum consistently. And that's what we have done this year for our foundation and higher diploma. We look at the skills out there, which are advised by the World Economic Forum and many more. Out there, and we bring these skills into the curriculum. Now, on top of that, we have also the Industry Advisory Board So we have a diverse industry advisory board. They come from different sectors of the tourism and hospitality industry. Now, I think they cover all the sectors of the tourism and hospitality industry. So, real senior professionals in their field, and they come regularly to advise us on the trends and, what are the important skills that need to be embedded in the curriculum. So, yeah, so that's the program part. Now, another important aspect of education are the lecturers. So, in terms of the lecturers, we choose our lecturers very carefully. We look at your industry experience in senior management roles. We look at your teaching certifications, and then we bring you in. And of course, with what's happening right now, a lot of our lecturers are also undergoing, educational technology tools training. So that's really great for, blended learning and keeping the students engaged, whether it's online or offline.
Exactly, and it's fantastic work from your lecturers as well. I mean, now it's a very hard time in itself to learn and to actually teach. So that's the thing, your lecturers have done miles away from the best stuff that they've done recently, of course. What would you think, especially now in this COVID situation, how important are these learning techniques, especially, or these teaching methods from your lecturers now?
Now, for the School of Tourism and Hospitality, not only for us, for every other school around the world, it's very important to embrace a student-centric learning approach. And that's what we're doing here. The personality of tourism and hospitality students, they cannot sit quietly,
For sure, yeah.
So we got to use that to our advantage, and that's what we do. Every class is carefully designed to ensure sufficient activities. We have a diverse classroom, so it's important that, the students work in a collaborative manner, improve their social skills, their communication skills, and yeah, so that's really important, for their journey in completing and moving into the industry. Now, on top of that, we also bring in a lot of different guest speakers, and where possible, we bring in field trips. We used to do tons of field trips before this current climate.
Yeah.
But now, as and when there is a window of opportunity, we just move in and we bring our students as much as possible. Recently, we brought them, especially this group of master's students who are new in Singapore, we brought them to Jewel before Jewel was closed.
Yeah.
And we brought them to the Orchid Garden to, to look, to reflect, and to come up with, ideas on how to, improve the visitorship. So all these are wonderful learning experiences for them.
Yeah, exactly. You bring up the student-centric collaborative approach. I think that's the biggest way to show students what they can experience from a very diverse country in a very tourism-centric country like Singapore. You mentioned Jewel, you mentioned the Orchid Gardens and everywhere else where, a lot of visitors, previously before this COVID era, used to always visit those places, and I think it's a fantastic approach that you all are taking in terms of making sure that our students are prepared for the future economy. Now, what other skills are essentially needed for development in this industry? Okay,
now besides the classroom, a lot of learning activities takes place out of the classroom. We have this, close relationship with the industry. So for the past few years, our students have been helping in the organization of F1.
Ooh,
they
nice.
have recently, before the COVID, they were actually invited by MDIS to manage some of their, gastronomical events, huge events where
Nice.
you have celebrity chefs, new products in the market, and that's really great for our students, to come in first and to meet the industry. It's a very applied learning approach. Now, on top of that, in school, we also do a lot of, like I said, we have so much of these facilities, and maybe a video would be good to show
Of
you
course.
the type of skill training that our students go through.
Fantastic.
the drink, I have lemon ginger honey syrup, rose syrup, juju salmon, and English breakfast tea. And the garnish will be orange slice and thyme.
Oh, well, my goodness, that was really impressive. And looking at that, I really do want to have a drink later. Maybe we can go down. Hopefully, we can enjoy one of the mocktails that the School of Tourism and Hospitality are famous for. So, of course, you can see from the video, there are a lot of different facilities that we have here at MDIS for your School of Tourism and Hospitality students, whether it's the hotel room for housekeeping, whether it's the bar, whether it's the opera system. There's so much that can be done on campus. All right, but what about off campus, especially for students who are maybe currently, especially in this COVID time, especially if they're overseas or if they're in Singapore? How are these students going about into the industry, let's say with internships?
All right, so for students in Singapore, we have the option for local internship or global internship for the students who are based in their country likewise. So they get to choose whether it's an internship or an industry report. So most of them choose internship definitely, and that's a 6 months internship that we do here. Now in Singapore, we work with the top hotels for internship, so that's another privilege that we have. Thanks to our industry collaboration activities as well. And in terms of global internship, we work with a hospitality company called Hosco. So they are based in actually Spain, and they give access to our students to choose the country, to choose the city, and choose the specific hotel they want to do or they want to work with, and direct interview with the HR of that hotel.
Wow,
so that
muy
gives
bueno.
them, so we have all these opportunities, for our students, and well, it doesn't stop at internship.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of them come back for their degree or master's, but we take it one level further. We also play a big part in their career. So every year we have this career fair going on, and last year we had to do it online. But yes, that's another big part in keeping. Helping our student in terms of their career, keeping in touch with them, and a lot of our students also tend to come back, to contribute to, of course, the new students or the alumnus.
Yeah, just hearing about Hosco helping you guys out in terms of finding global internship makes me want to learn Spanish. Muy bueno and hola. I think those are the only Spanish words I know. But of course, that's the thing with the facilities that you have here. I mean, the facilities will definitely go hand in hand with fantastic programs. And here, of course, we have the University of Sunderland during this open day, of course, helping us out with the programs here. What can you tell us about these relevant programs, especially with the bachelor's and the master's programs that we offer?
Okay, so actually we have a long-standing relationship, with the University of Sunderland. They are the only university we're offering in the School of Tourism and Hospitality for our degree students and master's students. Highly recognized, leading university in UK, and we're just very privileged to work with them. So there are two programs that we offer here. We have the Bachelor of Science, and we have the Master of Science. So this is actually open to our students from the higher diploma who progress. students from the higher diploma, they will, like I said earlier, they will complete this program, they will go for the internship, and then they come back for the degree. And that's great because they bring all this work experience or internship experience to the program as well. Whereas for the masters, we do see some of the bachelor students progressing into the masters, but more so we welcome a lot of industry professionals, not only from
Fantastic.
Singapore,
Yeah.
but overseas as well, who join us for the masters. Now, this is the part where I need to, emphasize that both the Bachelor of Science and the Master of Science takes a research degree approach. So what I mean by a research approach is that it takes a very applied approach. We cover the fundamentals in class, but the students decide which are the areas they want to go in further, which are the areas they want to learn more.
Yeah.
So for example, if you're talking about hospitality management, the student gets to decide for, the research topic, do they want to move into sales or HR or, the general management
Yeah.
of the hotel. So that's really great because research, it's a exciting journey. And a lot of it is very durable.
Yeah,
The knowledge that you gain is really much durable compared to a traditional written exam, right? Where, options are not given.
Yeah.
So here, you decide your journey, you decide your time management skills, and, you plan your
Yeah.
journey accordingly. Now, for employers, that also shows that you have wonderful time management skills. And students of a research degree are basically very versatile across
Yeah.
different sectors of the industry.
And that's the good thing about it. It shows that students now are decisive with what, especially now with the current students that we have, they're more decisive on what they want to do. Then with the School of Tourism and Hospitality, it gives you a myriad of options in which to do your research paper, whether it's on hospitality, sales, as you mentioned before. There's so many different ways in which students can now apply their learning towards their research. And that's the thing. There's only so much that can be learned from the book. Everything
right.
has to be learned, through the outside, through the experience. And like what you mentioned, the internship, after that, they come back for their bachelor's degree. And let's say if they go to the master's, when you talk about masters, when you talk about the industry professionals that do come in and attend the classes, you also not only learn from the lecturers, you also learn from your peers. So I
Definitely.
think that is one thing that really sets this program apart. Would you agree with that?
Definitely, and yeah, you're right about that, Jerome. That's the synergy. That is the learning environment, and I think this is the future. And end of the day, the school's role is to develop learners and to contribute to the overall economy, and that's what we need to excel at.
Exactly, and of course now we are heading into more on post-COVID and how everything will rebound from that, hopefully. So of course, what else? I mean, you talk about more on having your degrees being, how do you say, especially to today's climate, how has improvements been made to teaching methods and how, especially in this post-COVID time, how that has been working out for the School of Media, for the School of Hospitality. Sorry, so many
School of
schools.
Tourism, yes,
School of
I
Tourism. So many
understand.
schools here that offer so many things, but the School of Tourism, what sets it apart?
All right, so let's use one example. Let's use the Bachelor of Science. It's an honors degree in international tourism and hospitality management. It's open to diploma holders in terms of entry requirements, or even those from the industry with 8 years of work experience. So we have the core modules, as you can see, strategic planning, international hospitality management, and so on. So here, the module emphasizes the connections between the theories and the practices. So for each one of them, we cover the theories as much as possible. We complement it with guest speakers, industry visits, and industry association mentors. So all this synergy is just great for our students. So for each of this topic, it brings you into the fundamentals, into the to understand the core concepts, and like I said, we facilitate your journey, but at the end of the day, you decide for your assignment. Now, each module has 2 assignments, so you decide which is the area you would like to dive further into. Yeah, so, and recently, I want to share this. We have this student, right? She's actually from Korea, and she recently graduated. In fact, she hasn't even attended the graduation. Upon completion of the last class, she managed to get a job with Marriott. So maybe we can hear from her as well.
Yeah, that'll be fantastic.
Hi guys, I'm Eugene and I studied International Tourism and Hospitality Management in MDIS since 2017 to 2019. I'm currently working as Sales and Service Associate at Marriott. Basically, I'm in Central Reservation Team, which is in charge of global reservations in hotels worldwide. The reason that I choose to study tourism and hospitality is that I was attracted by the fact that when you work in this industry, you have so many chances to meet the guests from different cultures, and you actually can experience their cultures indirectly. In terms of my internship, I was so interested in MICE industry, so I chose to work at MCI as Business Development and Sponsorship and Exhibition Sales Executive. I already had the basic knowledge of MICE industry through the theoretical classes. It helped me to blend into my position quickly. During my internship, I sold the exhibition and sponsorship related packages to the relevant companies, and I found out that I was quite enjoying the sales position. After my degree, I decided to find sales position which is also related to my major. I applied to many different kinds of world-leading hospitality enterprises and ended up I was able to get a job at Marriott. While working in Marriott, since it is B2C position, the soft skills are very required. And at this point, I was able to apply the customer service module to my work. So for now, my soft skill was acknowledged, so one of my call was selected as Call of the Month in September. If you're considering to study tourism and hospitality, I strongly recommend MDIS as you can enjoy your classes with various resources and friendly lecturers.
Testimony from one of your Korean international students. And of course, that's the thing. Right now, a lot of students are scared about what's going to happen in terms of the tourism industry and also how are they going to get about opportunities for her. Of course, she didn't have any troubles. You know, even before she graduated, you mentioned she actually managed to get the job at Marriott.
Yes, and you know, this is where the internship plays a big part. And like I said, we're actually one of the few schools to, offer internship. And this is really important for the students, not only to get an experience, but to understand the industry a bit more and to decide whether this is what you want to do. Now, another thing that we actually do for our degree students is pre-COVID, we have these overseas trips. And as much as possible, we want students to not only explore Singapore, but to understand another major tourism city. And all this is part of the curriculum. And so for international students like Eugene from Korea, she explored Singapore, she went to, Bangkok, and then so putting everything in front of you, besides a wonderful holiday and a learning journey, you get to, synthesize, you get to understand what makes each city tick. And this is really important for our students' critical thinking skills.
So, of course, exactly, not only finding out more about Singapore as a tourism hub, getting to experience Bangkok in itself as another tourism hub is fantastic because you're bringing your students to the outside to actually discover what is in front of them. So, of course, with the degree, at the end of the degree, basically, you also have the chance to see whether you want to continue in the industry first or actually go on to your master's first there and then. What would you think of the master's course, and what would you say to recommend this course to our viewing public?
All right, so a lot of our students recently, because of what's happening out here, they've decided to continue their education and move into the master's. So the master's basically takes a social science approach to tourism and hospitality and combines it with practical skills. Now, earlier on I mentioned even our master's students get involved with industry events, so that's a wonderful learning opportunity for them. So basically, similar to the Bachelor of Science, it covers the fundamental modules, and once again, you're in charge of the journey. right? So like I said, we complement your journey, we bring in all the supporting tools and facilities that you need, but you decide on the topic and you bring it further and you come up with solutions for those topics that you have identified.
Exactly, and that, of course, is the master's program. I mean, what you said is absolutely true. Now, especially with COVID, students aren't able to really go out there and actually start working. You'd rather, I mean, now is the most opportune time to actually go and further your education here in Singapore, especially also for international students. If you're able to be in Singapore to experience what the learning is like here, you know, because you're not only that, like what you mentioned before, you're learning with your peers. So Singapore industry professionals are here also learning, hoping to get a promotion in their job as well. So of course, there's a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge that is exchanged between both also. Now, of course, the most important thing coming up now is the rebound of COVID. We've seen, of course, from, you know, the various, like we've seen in most recently as Euro 2020, of course, you know, the countries like Hungary able to push out more visitors or more people into the stadiums because of, you know, most of them have been vaccinated already. How will tourism rebound from here, especially in the near future?
Oh, this is a tough question, Jerome. Well, I think you would agree it's pretty much a roller coaster right now.
It has been, yeah.
It gets better and then it goes back, it gets better and then it goes back. And I think right now the aim is, not only for Singapore, for many countries, is to reach a 70 or 85% herd immunity and then an endemic state. And then with that, you know, things would get better.
Yeah.
We are already seeing the government putting in place, you know, initiatives to open not only the tourism economy but many other economies as well. And for example, the government of Singapore, you know, trying as much as possible to establish travel bubbles with many different countries. And I think recently Mr. Lawrence, our Minister Lawrence, spoke about, you know, hitting 70% and then, you know, easing things up. And so, you know, that's something that all of us are looking forward to. Now, just to quote an example, certain states in the UOS, for example, have already hit a 70% herd immunity. And so states like California and New York, what's happened is that they have, you know, opened up the economy. They have reduced or, you know, reduced this social distancing measures.
The mask mandate also has been lifted, yeah?
Yes, the mask mandate has been lifted. Now, another thing is the current football tournament going on.
Yeah.
And that is another testimony, you know. Every stadium is only allowed to bring in vaccinated spectators. And you can see things are slowly getting back to normality over there. And so, yeah, so I think eventually we should be getting there. But you know, at this point of time, there's another thing I need to also highlight.
Of course.
During COVID, the industry has been hit badly. A lot of the workers have and staff have moved on, you know. And when the industry opens up again, what we're going to see is a huge shortage of workers. And these people need to be reskilled again, right? Those who left, some may come back, but most have moved on with their journey. So, you know, it's really, you know, important, I would say, now to prepare for the eventual rebound now.
Yeah, exactly. And I think now is the perfect time to actually go on with your education, especially with the MDIS School of Tourism and Hospitality and in its partnership with the University of Sunderland. And of course, do remember that our education consultants are standing by for more inquiries on the various courses that we have available. Whether you're looking at the Masters, whether you're looking at the Bachelor of Science in Tourism and Hospitality, remember there are rebates and everything else that are available to you all, up to $6,000 for the rebates in terms of the master's program, and also the UOS degree of up to $3,500. So do remember that all our education consultants are standing by, awaiting your call to your call to action into the tourism and hospitality industry. Mr. Isaac, it's been tremendous talking to you all about the tourism industry, and I am very excited to see all of you hopefully coming in for our programs. Any last words, any final words from you, Mr. Isaac?
Well, thanks again, Jerome, for having me, and look forward to having a lot of our viewers out there joining us and together preparing for the industry's rebound.
Fantastic. All right, that's the end for today's showing. Thank you so much, Mr. Isaac, for joining us. I missed you, dude, and we'll see you soon.